Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Aubrey and I'm an opera singer. Today we're going to talk a little bit about a question that I think I get asked more than any other question, which is, why do I teach lessons online and is it worthwhile? So fundamentally, I want to tackle this question by addressing why I teach online. And there's four really clear reasons behind why I do that. The first one is personal flexibility. The second one is less limitations. The third is better overall health. And last but not least, keeping up with technology in general. So I started teaching online a few years ago when some of my regular studio students ended up moving away for whatever reason, because I tended to teach a lot of adults. So, people were busy, they had a full-time job. It was kind of hard for us to schedule within their already full calendars. So it became kind of challenging just to have an in-person studio, simply for logistics alone. Teaching online allowed me to remain connected with a lot of people and make sure I was following up with them and be able to work with them for a long period of time, which was kind of cool. This also allowed me, like I mentioned, to have more personal flexibility, which was great. I was able to explore my own interests in my career. I was able to move and be able to still take everybody with me, so to speak. And I also was able to ensure that I was delivering really, really high quality information to everyone in a very efficient manner that didn't interrupt their lives nor my own. I mentioned in the second point that there were less limitations. I find that one of the biggest assets of teaching online is being able to connect with people who don't live nearby big cities, or perhaps they live in other countries and don't have access to learning from certain kinds of teachers. So if you wanted to study voice and wanted to study with somebody who has a background in opera, all you have to do is select someone like me and you're able to get right into taking lessons, which is kind of a cool aspect of being online. You don't really have to worry about where you are in the world, just when you are in the world. The biggest trouble I find is just making sure that everybody's on the same page in terms of time differences, but the website that I work with does all of that automatically for us, so we luckily don't have that many problems anymore. Another limitation that I've found that prevents people from getting access to lessons is just life overarchingly. I work with a lot of adults who have kids, have jobs, have hobbies, all sorts of responsibilities. So trying to make time to drive to a location, have the lesson, drive back, and then in your free time prepare, should you feel inclined to do so, it's really hard. Whereas I find that when my students can be comfortable in their own space and sign up for any slot that they want and just be able to sign in almost at the drop of a hat, it makes it a lot easier for people to feel confident in taking lessons and maintain it for a longer period of time. Now, my third point is a little different, and it's about health, right? So when I was teaching in person, a lot of people would come into lessons with a cold because they didn't really feel that bad. Fundamentally, getting a cold is not the end of the world. It doesn't ruin my life or anything, but it does mean that I have to take off a lot more time from my own job should I lose my voice for any reason. When I would have people come to lessons being like, I'm largely fine, I'm just getting over a cold, it would really frustrate me because I would always start all of my interactions with any new student by saying, if you ever feel sick, let me know. We will reschedule with no cost to you. I would much rather have you not sing when you're not feeling well and cause more damage, and I also would just not like to be exposed to those nasty things. But no matter how many times I say it, people would always show up when they were sick, and I just constantly was getting colds. Constantly. That was possibly also related to other health conditions that I have and I didn't know about at the time, but despite all of that, I have still seen a huge decrease in the amount of days that I am sick. So I attribute that to just not being in the vicinity with as many people. So statistically, I'm just less likely to get sick. Now with this little digital barrier, I'm able to also help my students look at other concepts that are important to musical performance and studying voice. Stuff like songwriting, music theory, music history, all sorts of stuff. So when people are feeling sick, I'm able to still work with them when they're feeling well enough to attend class, but perhaps not well enough to sing full out, and we can focus on other things. So I like to be able to provide that in order to ensure that my singing students are really well-rounded. The last point is kind of a personal one, but I recognize that technology is always changing, and I think one of my biggest critiques of the classical music industry is that there's like this fear of exploring technology and seeing what it can do for us as a genre. And I just want to be a part of the change, or the group of people who are willing to accept what the future might hold for us. And not only willing to accept it, but to also embrace it and use it in everyday life. So I greatly enjoy learning about all these different fields of technology, ranging from social media like TikTok and YouTube to platforms like Lessonface, Zoom, etc. These systems are really awesome and they allow us to connect with each other, and I just want to be at the forefront of that as much as possible. And I'm not inherently like a tech person, but I have met a lot of people over the years who are, and they've deeply inspired me to go and seek out information and be a lifelong learner, which also helps me to become a better teacher because I too am a student. All that being said, what does taking lessons online look like? Let me just kind of break that down for everyone who might not have taken a lesson online before, because I don't know how many of you guys have tried. But fundamentally, I know everybody's really nervous. Everybody's always very, very nervous if they haven't done a lesson online, and they're kind of like, I don't know, is it gonna give me stuff that I would get in an in-person lesson? I feel like the answer to that is yes. One of the positives that I have noticed while teaching online is that people are more comfortable. My advice to people who have never taken a lesson online before is to make sure that you set up a space that feels good and is very comfortable, like this. You don't have to go to that extreme. However, mine is just because I really like the background, but people are able to set it up in any way they like. Go ahead and wear those pajamas. I don't care. It's your house anyways, right? So the beauty of taking lessons online is you create your own environment. You have control over the space that you're singing in, and then I join you. I also encourage everyone to use devices that they're familiar with. Perhaps it's your computer that you use every day, or your phone, or your tablet. It doesn't matter, but make sure that you know how it works. Some people will use fancier devices like microphones and cameras and such, but I've never asked any students to go out and make any purchases in order to take lessons. All I'm saying is that it's possible to have a very, very great lesson with any device you have available. My last recommendation for pre-lesson prep is to reach out to your potential instructor and just ask what their expectations are and see if they have any recommendations for what your setup should look like, or anything that they would want you to bring to your lesson, like goals or perhaps already existing music if you have it, or just a good attitude. And also remember that a lot of these platforms have the ability to show you what your device looks like in a demo meeting. So you can always open a window, see what you look like, check your sound system, make sure everything is good. When you're online, I hope that you find a teacher that works to create a personalized routine for you and really focuses on getting you from point A to point B with lots of positivity, lots of love, because at the end of the day, I want as many people as possible to be exploring different hobbies such as singing, and I think it's a great way to connect with one another. Working online with a teacher can be a great opportunity for people to explore different skill sets, regardless of whether or not they're on the other side of the world, or if they have a very busy schedule, or if they're catching a cold. If you or anybody you know has ever been interested in taking lessons online but have been unsure of what that would look like, or what kinds of things you'd like to explore, or where to go in order to find these opportunities, feel free to reach out, and I hope that I can help you try something in this new year, because what's a better New Year's resolution than to learn how to play a new instrument? So yeah, I hope this video answers any questions you might have about what online lessons are like. Happy 2023, everybody. If you don't mind liking this video, subscribing to my channel, that would mean a lot to me. Otherwise, you know the drill, and keep on singing. Mwah! What is this?